Hi, my name is Justin Ruchti, member of the 2003 National Champion Rice Owls and a former member of the Seattle Mariners organization. Today I'm here to talk to you about the Insider Bat. As a hitting instructor, it's changing the way that I teach hitting. The Insider Bat is a tool that I use to show hitters the finer points of hitting, show them the correct bat path, and develop muscle memory. It's a tool that, through repetitive use, will help develop a proper swing without thinking too much. First thing you'll notice about the Insider Bat is it doesn't have a round handle like most bats. It has an oval, or what we call a hammer-shaped handle. This is designed to reinforce the proper grip, which is knuckles in line. You'll notice a lot of kids when they hit tend to wrap their knuckles, which creates an awkward arm and shoulder swing. What we're trying to promote here is the proper hand path, and the oval handle helps achieve that. You also notice that it has a trigger on it. The trigger is a little bit different, but it also, again, reinforces the proper hand position. It can be used between the forefinger, between the index finger and the middle finger. It can also be used with both hands underneath if you feel more comfortable that way. It's also helpful when we're doing one-handed drills. You can do a lot of front and backhand drills with the Insider Bat, and it helps hitters provide an anchor for where their hands should be. Working our way up the bat, you'll notice the unique L-shaped shaft. This is to promote hands in front of barrel at contact. And a lot of younger hitters don't understand this concept, which is why this device does such a good job of explaining it. If you'll notice, when hands are in front, the flat paddle-shaped top is flush with the ball, as opposed to when the barrel gets in front, we have a mishit. We'll roll over, chop it to the ground, pop it up. So it really reinforces keeping your hands close to your body and thrusting them through the ball as opposed to turning around it. The final innovative feature of the Insider Bat is the flat hitting surface. As opposed to a bat which is round, this allows you to get instant feedback when you make contact. If the head comes through underneath the ball, you're going to notice a pop-up. If we cast or roll over the pitch, we're going to chop it into the ground. So with the Insider Bat, we're looking for flat line drives coming straight off the flat hitting surface. The Insider Bat comes in 4 different sizes: 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if you'll notice, it's marked clearly on the knob. The different number indicates the distance from knob to trigger in inches. So this is a 7, which fits me perfect. It's 7 inches from knob to trigger. I can also use an 8 and keep my fingers underneath. When in doubt, order a larger size. It'll give you room to grow. I have small hands, and a 7 works okay with me. But that's going to allow you to have the proper grip on there without it being too small. So one size above what you might guess is a pretty safe estimate. Again, if you look from side to side, the only difference is the handle. The L shape and the flat paddle, exactly the same. Doesn't change the function of the bat, it's just different size handles. In explaining the sizes, model number 5 is probably going to be the model that you want to get for the youngest of hitters, ages 5 to around 7. The model number 6 is probably going to be a model that you want to use for ages 7 to 11, depending on hand size. Once you get past 11, usually you can go with a 7 or an 8, depending on hand size. Okay, and talking about the mechanics of the swing that the Insider Bat's trying to reinforce, again, I've got my hands pretty close to in line with what the Insider Bat is reinforced. The big thing that you'll notice with hitters is a lot of younger kids tend to swing from shoulder to shoulder in a circular path. So you'll notice the handle of the bat is actually crossing the middle of the plate. What the Insider Bat does is it reinforces an inside the ball approach. What that means is my swing is no longer going from shoulder to shoulder. It's starting and driving my hands through the inside of the ball. So if you'll notice, when my hands are following the path that's been taught by the Insider Bat, palm up, palm down, I want to have my hands in front of my barrel. A lot of kids have trouble understanding this concept. You talk about getting the head out, everybody wants to cast. I want my hands behind my barrel, behind the ball, my hands in front of my barrel. With a good hip turn, I'm in a position where I can drive a ball forward instead of hooking a ball foul or on the ground. So again, being short to the inside of the ball keeps my handle from being exposed to the ball, and it keeps the end of the bat out of the contact point. I want to be in this position at contact. When training with the Insider Bat, it's important that we know where to line up. I recommend all my guys that the ball be lined up somewhere between your front foot and your belt buckle. again, the deeper that you set it, the more you reinforce the fact that I have to have an aggressive hip turn and I have to really fight those hands forward. If I play the ball too far up in front, it's really easy to hit it, and yeah, I might hit it, but everything's going to be hooked, for me as a right-hander, to the left side, and that's not what we're trying to reinforce here. We're trying to reinforce flat paddle contact and up the middle line drive. So again, making contact, I want to be in a position where my head's down, my palm up, palm down position, knob. And if I were swinging a regular bat, that barrel would be back here. Again, the L shape of the insider bat provides me a contact point that reinforces the hands in front of barrel, and it's important to realize that. So I want to have this position, that elbow in the slot, and my hands close to me. That's what we're shooting for, reinforcing. I don't want to practice a swing that's going to be long. The more you practice the wrong things, the harder it is to correct as you get older. So it's important to get these guys on the insider bat at an early age so they can start developing that muscle memory of being inside the ball, and we're going to start driving balls to the middle of the field instead of hooking balls foul and having inconsistent contact points. So again, the flat part, flat to the ball, and we're looking for line drives up the middle. When I first start working with a hitter, it's important that I know that I and they know what we're looking for. Again, if they're just taking full swings, they're not seeing what they're doing. I want them to actually see what they're going to look like at contact. So we'll do some slow motion stuff. I'll have them load, step, start their hip turn, and a lot of times I'll explain to them that if I just turn my hips, if I just start my hip turn, my hands are going to pretty much be close to where they need to be. If you've got a younger kid that tends to start his swing with his arms, that's when we see a lot of that casting. So the first thing I'm going to do is have them turn their hip and watch how their hands come forward instead of out. And that's important to understand. As I start my hip turn, I want to feel them, and I want them to feel what it feels like to stop, and explain to them that this is flat here. If I were hitting with a real bat though, my barrel would be well behind my hands. And it's important that they understand that concept, because a lot of young hitters try to take the barrel to the ball and they're ending up making contact with the barrel in front of their hands instead of their hands in front of the barrel. So we'll do some stuff in slow motion. I'll have them stop, and then I'll have them push through it so that they can feel that at contact, my hands are going to continue forward. They're not going to get to the ball and begin pulling. Okay, so again, the difference between driving a ball and hitting a ball weakly on the ground. Another thing that I like doing, particularly with the younger kids, but even with the older kids, is we'll have contests, and we'll take an old trash can lid, paint a target on it, and we'll work setting the insider bat and the tee about 15 feet away, depending on the skill level. Anywhere from 10 to 20 feet usually works pretty well. And we'll try to shoot line drives at that trash can lid. The better you get at that forward extension, that thrust through the ball, they're going to start. When you make it a game, it becomes a little bit more fun, and they're learning as they're having fun. They're not even thinking about it. So as opposed to just sitting the ball on the tee and drill, we like to add a little bit of fun and a little bit of competition to it, kind of reinforce what we're trying to do, but also disguise it as a game. When training with the insider bats, it's important that we're using the right type of balls. Wiffle balls do really well. Your sponge type balls and tennis balls are great. You can even poke a hole in it. They give a little bit more and they don't bounce around quite as much, but definitely no hard ball use. It's a very strong aluminum product, but repetition with that hard ball is going to tear it down over time. So if you use these type of balls, that should last you forever. It's also important that we know the proper type of tee to use. Again, we're dealing with an aluminum product. These hard plastic tees, while great products for regular bat use, probably aren't going to go so good, and in fact we recommend that you use something with a rubber tip, one of these travel tees or a rubber type tee that gives a little bit more. We hope this video has helped answer any questions you may have about this tool. Again, a very simple tool that helps explain one of the most difficult things to do in any sport. So if you have further questions, please feel free to contact me.